Welcome to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. My name is Faith and I'm a homeschooling mom of 2 who also works part-time on my plant-based food blog. Join me around my house and the city for a typical day in my life. Malaysia is right on the equator, so I always try to get out first thing in the morning to get some exercise and fresh air, and I love taking in all the nature and sounds around me.
In case you didn't know, it's hot and humid in Malaysia. Like, this is what I look like after a short run. I'm dripping. It's disgusting.
This is going to be a very typical day in my life as a mom of 2 who is mainly spending most of my time with my kids, taking care of my house, doing laundry, making all of the food, homeschooling my 5.5-year-old daughter, not too much, a little bit, and this is how I often start my day. I will have some time to myself and then get out for some exercise, either at our gym, at our condominium, or go on a run around the loop at my house. And then when I get back, my family is usually hungry and ready for breakfast. Today, I just whipped up some really quick oatmeal. My kids have gone in phases with oatmeal, and right now they are loving it with some cinnamon, and then I sweeten it with a little bit of maple syrup, add a splash of non-dairy milk to make it nice and creamy, and then we just top it with fresh peanut butter and frozen blueberries. That is currently my kids' favorite combo. While I cooled down, I read to my daughter. My son was sleeping in a little bit this day because he's been sick, but I often read for about a half an hour to an hour to my kids in the morning.
So I am at least stopped sweating. I showered and still in comfy clothes because I need to stretch. But I'm gonna make myself some breakfast. This is later than I would normally eat. Usually I eat right before I run, which is really weird, but it just feels good. And since we got sick a couple weeks ago, I have not had an appetite. Like, my normal oatmeal just isn't exciting to me, but I made some chocolate chip walnut sourdough bread. So I'm gonna have a thick slice of that with some frozen berries and almond butter. Not the greatest post-run refuel, but I don't know, it sounds good. So let's make some breakfast.
So since filming this video, I'm back on my oatmeal kick, but this bread was definitely delicious and hit the spot this day. It is a recipe I make very often, and I have it on my blog in case you want to make a banana bread with sourdough. It's very easy. It uses sourdough discard, so you can just pull your chilled sourdough out of the fridge, whip up this bread, and have it all ready for the week. As you could guess, fruits like banana and mango and papaya are pretty cheap here, but we also love berries, and those are super expensive, so we always buy frozen berries.
So we just finished breakfast and a ton of reading aloud. My son is pretty sick, but it's 9:40. This is pretty typical, like a typical time we would finish our breakfast, and the kids are at such a good age where they are playing together, and usually once they are fed and read to, they'll play happily for about an hour and I can get some chores done. So I'm just gonna tidy up the kitchen, do dishes. My daughter has already helped me clean off the kitchen table and get that wiped down, so that's great. But we have swim class in about an hour, so I'm just gonna get some stuff done around the house before we head out. And then I'm gonna take you guys to my favorite restaurant in KL. It's my friend's vegan restaurant that is amazing. They have Malaysian food and Western food, the best drinks, the best chai latte I've ever had. So I'm really excited to show you her restaurant and show you some vegan Malaysian food that is so good. So let's get stuff done first though and then head out.
Because my kids are still young, we aren't very scheduled when it comes to homeschooling. I do about an hour and a half total with my daughter, and most of that is just reading aloud. However, I am pretty scheduled when it comes to chores, and I love to get the kitchen all cleaned up after a meal.
Cleaned kitchen.
After an impromptu music lesson, we got all packed up and ready for my daughter's swim class. She's been taking swim class for a little while now and is getting pretty good, and it's definitely a high priority for us here as Our condo has a pool and most of our friends' condos have a pool, so we just want our kids to be ready and swimming as soon as possible. We didn't have a car for the longest time in Malaysia and we would just use Grab, but then once we had my son and had 2 kids, we really felt the need for a car as I found it really exhausting to carry 2 kids and all of my stuff wherever I went instead of having a car to store our bags or strollers. So I have quickly learned to love having a car. Malaysians drive on the opposite side of the road as Americans, so it took a little bit of adjustment, but not too long, and now I love being able to drive everywhere with my kids. As you can see, the pools in Malaysia are beautiful. Our pool at our condo is just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, so it is such a blessing to be able to have these beautiful places to relax and swim and cool down on these hot Malaysian days. Usually when my daughter is taking her swim class, me and my son either do a little bit of swimming ourselves or go check out the playground at this condo. This was our first time to the playground and he was pretty sick, but he still wanted to explore and climb around a bit. Malaysia is really kid-friendly. There are playgrounds and pools and parks everywhere. You just need to be willing to sweat a little bit to enjoy them. Once my daughter finished swim class, we got back in the car to head to our favorite restaurant in the city called The Vegan Place. This restaurant was actually started by one of my best friends here in Malaysia during the pandemic. I didn't know her super well at the time when she was having this idea to start this restaurant, and it has been so cool to see how her dreams and plans have come to fruition in this beautiful restaurant. I mean, just look at this. The art is amazing, the atmosphere is so bright and sunny and cheerful, and all of the food is absolutely delicious. My friend is also the best host and let the kids and I go back into the kitchen to get a tour and to see one of her chefs make their delicious fried rice in one of their woks, and the kids really liked seeing how it was made. To start our meal, we got a couple creamy chai lattes that are my favorite drink on this menu. My kids were a little bit sick this day, so they just wanted some tomato soup and chips and dip, but I wanted some Malaysian vegan food. So this is the fried rice. Those are mushrooms on that skewer that are so meaty and juicy, and it comes with lots of sambal, chili, veggies. This is the nasi lemak, which is one of the most popular dishes in Malaysia, and this is a vegan version, so it comes with coconut rice, crispy peanuts, sambal, and fried banana flowers. Usually nasi lemak comes with fried anchovies, but this is their vegan version that everybody loves. We also got some kombucha, and that is my beautiful friend saying hi, and yeah, if you ever come to Kuala Lumpur, definitely check out The Vegan Place. At this point, I was realizing my son was way sicker than I thought at first, so we headed home to get him down for a long nap. And that is usually when my daughter and I do a little bit of schoolwork and fun reading together. It's kind of our special time together, and she really looks forward to it. I was homeschooled as a kid, and I'm really passionate about it, and so it's fun to be at an age where we can slowly get started. All right, this is hard when we don't have the money. So put the ones that are worth the same amount together. You can just look the numbers on the Malaysian coins. Should we add them all up? Let's see how much we have. So let's start here.
10, 20,
Yeah.
31, 32.
32 cents total.
O-M-E.
And then try to make your E's neat so people can read them. Okay, what's the next one? Yeah. In addition to about 10 minutes of math and some handwriting, my daughter is also learning to read. This day she was reading me a story. After spending about an hour or an hour and a half with my daughter, I get about an hour to myself to either get some work done or rest or do whatever I want. Lately, I've been waking my son up at 4:30, which is probably crazy to a lot of you who put your kids to bed around 6 or 7, but this is the schedule that works for us. So as soon as he gets up, the kids have a snack. Sometimes I join them, but We are currently loving watermelon, and we love it all year round here in hot Malaysia. And again, our days are filled with books and books and more books, especially when my kids aren't feeling well. We just spend a lot of time on the couch reading. I'm gonna show you guys something so gross, but if I wait too long to take the trash out, we get maggots. I don't know if you can see them, but I waited a little bit too long this time, and it's disgusting. So I am taking all this trash out. What you can't hear in this clip was how sad my son was. He definitely was not feeling well, so I just got a little bit of housework done.
We are quite the sick family. My husband actually got a biopsy done on his tongue, so they cut off a little bit of it, stitched it up, so he is in a ton of pain and just like trying to make it through the day. And then my two kids have had a bad cough the last few days, and then my son has been feverish and snotty all day, so they all have no appetite for anything that I have cooked, and I don't plan to cook. So the kids have requested plain pasta with some snap peas, and then my daughter really likes tuna, so sometimes I whip that up for her. So that's probably what they'll eat, and then my husband is gonna try to eat some leftover lasagna that I made yesterday because it's pretty soft, and I'll probably just eat that too when I get hungry. Still pretty full from our delicious lunch, but yeah, we're just gonna lay low tonight. Usually we'll go to the pool or the swings or on a walk, but it has been so hot here in Malaysia. I don't wanna take my feverish kids that are already coughing all over the place out to be around to anybody and to be in the heat. So we're just gonna have a night as a family. Usually we only watch one show as a family a week. We're pretty minimal on screen times, so that wouldn't be for 2 more days, but we might whip it out tonight. We will see how the evening goes, but I'm just gonna whip up some simple dinners, and we're just gonna hang out as a family until the end of the night.
Whenever our kids aren't feeling well, especially when they have a fever, we just try to feed them a lot of hydrating fruit. They are allowed to have some juice when they're sick. We normally just drink water. And then when it comes to meal times, we let them choose whatever they will eat, because that's usually the issue for us, just getting our kids to eat when they're sick. So they asked for some really simple pasta, and me and my husband had some leftover lasagna. My kids are definitely nooch lovers, as we call it, or nutritional yeast lovers. They put it on top of their rice, and all they wanted this night was just some plain pasta with a little olive oil and some nutritional yeast. So that is what I gave them. Just cooked the pasta, added a little bit of olive oil, nooch, a little bit of salt to make it taste cheesy, and then plated this up with some veggies and canned tuna. So definitely a very realistic sick day dinner.
Well, it is almost 9 o'clock. Pretty typical for us to get the kids down around this time. We didn't end up watching a movie. We just read books. My husband and daughter played Legos. I did the dishes. The house was in shambles until right before bed, and then we usually just all work together to straighten it up so that I can wake up to a clean living room and kitchen, which always feels so nice. But yeah, that's a pretty typical day for us. We've been sick a ton, but we often try to get out and see at least some friends or neighbors every day, and homeschooling takes up a little chunk of the day, but I hope you guys got a little bit of a picture of what living in Malaysia is like. It's super fun, it's very hot, but we love it here, and if you want to see more videos like this, let me know, but I'll see you guys very soon. Good night.